Hey guys, so in this video we're going to be sharing with you the best and most detailed 4-3-3-2 formation breakdown that you have ever seen. If you're keen on using the 4-3-3-2 right now as your formation, then you need to see this video. So as always, to show your support, please hit the like button, subscribe, but most importantly hit the notifications bell so that you know exactly when new content is released. So here is exactly what we will be covering in this video. So let's get right into it. Now we think this is one of the most underused formations in the game, and we don't really know why. It has everything that you need to have a successful formation this year in FIFA. The only thing that is lacking is a cam to link up between the midfield and the attack, but you'll see that we get around this problem when we get into the instructions. We also love that this formation has a single defensive midfielder, and as you'll find and you'll tend to see in a lot of our favourite formations, this is the truth. And this is simply because then you never need to drag out your defenders, i.e. your centre backs, to be able to press the ball carrier. You use your DM to do this, and that's what his job is for. And lastly, this is also a great formation to play counter-attacks in, as long as you have fast wingers. It is a tough formation to break down once you're in shape, but once you have those fast players and that speed in the front three, with those two centre midfielders that flank in behind them, it can be a really deadly formation on the counter. So moving on into the tactics that we decided for this 4-3-3 formation. So starting off with the defensive style, we chose balanced as we do in all of our formations, and that's because we want to have a solid foundation base that we're in, and we don't want to give up the possession really easily. We don't want to give our opponents any free space and any free chances. Moving into the defensive width, we chose 50, and as you guys know, we do this because we prefer to have a more solid and compact midfield and let the opponents have the space out wide where it's much easier to deal and defend. Depth, we settled on 70. Now this might seem scary to some people, but we find the people that we personally struggle against the most and have the most success against us play very high up, and that makes it really difficult to play. So 70 depth allows you to play up high without actually pressing, and occasionally people will get in, but this is generally the case regardless of how high you play your depth, so the benefit is worth it for us. And it's also worth noting that your team plays an automatic offside trap on 70 depth. So with the build-up play, we chose balanced, and this is mainly because none of the other options really suit the best way to play with this formation, and it also gives us the best chance to have some form of shape in defence when we do lose possession of the ball a little bit higher up the field. With chance creation, we went for direct passing, as when you get into the final third, you need to play fast and precise in this FIFA or you have no success whatsoever. You need to have those runners making darting runs in behind. That is a must. And you just have to be wary of any counterattacks that might arise when you have sustained periods of possession. The longer you have the ball, the more out of position your players will be, so that is something to be wary of. Offensive width, we chose 60, and the main reason for this is because we have some width with those wingers, and we need to keep some of that width. But you don't want to keep them too wide. You don't want to have too many big gaps in the midfield if you go too wide on the width, and that's going to allow people to play easy through balls. So you need them close enough so that there are through balls, but you need them wide enough so that they're involved and you can use the strengths of the formation. And then for players in the box, we chose 5 because we want our instructions to dictate where our players go. And corners, we like to have them on 3 because we like to mix up, sometimes going short and sometimes crossing it in. But if you're someone who is worried about counters, then you can drop this back to 1. So now before we continue, if you want us to make more videos like this, then make sure you hit the thumbs up button and make sure you comment below right now with your questions and thoughts on this formation and any other videos that you'd like us to see cover going forwards. So let's get back into it and jump into the instructions for this formation. So as with all of our goalkeepers, we like to have comes to crosses because this gives us a good advantage when people look to whip balls into the box. And we also like to have them on sweeper, keeper, because again, it's really important that you're able to cut out any crosses that may come into the box. So when it comes to key attributes for us, we just look for reactions and reflexes and make sure our goalkeeper has got some height to them. They're really all that matters. So moving into the fullbacks, you need to keep them on stay back while attacking, and this is kind of non-negotiable in this formation, and especially at the moment when a lot of people have really high-end attackers already at this early stage in the game, you can't afford to leave any free space in behind. So some of the key attributes that you need to, when you have choosing your fullback, you need to have high defending, you need to have good physical, to be able to shove off any of those wingers when they get close to you. You also got to have reliable short passing because most of the passes they're going to play are short ones to the centre back or short ones into the midfield. And then of course with the centre backs, we're going to be keeping them on stay back while attacking, and it's pretty obvious that we're going to be doing that. So when it comes to key attributes, you really need guys with high centre backs, especially at this stage now. Everybody's got like the high level attackers, so you need good centre backs with good pace. We like to have high reactions and composure as well. We think that's super important. But we also think defensive awareness and especially aggression is really important, especially when the AI is in control. That means that they're going to be able to intercept a lot of passes. So moving into the CDM, and they play a vital role in the success of this formation as they're the last line of defense between your mids and your defenders. So you need to have an out-and-out defensive-minded midfielder, and as with a lot of our single DM formations, we like to use them on drop between defenders so that when we're in an attack, our defense becomes a back five and we're more solid for any potential counters. And this instruction is very powerful, especially if you're someone that does tend to drag out your centre-backs. You can use this guy instead. So we also like to use balanced defense to make sure that they stay in the correct position and not to run off and try and make interceptions when the AI is in control. So when it comes to key attributes, you really want that high short passing and vision to be able to start those counters, and also high defending stats such as interception, because that's their main job, especially when we're controlling them. So now moving into the central midfielders, and these guys play a big role in the attacking game as they get into a lot of dangerous areas for chances created and scoring goals. So you really need box-to-box mids in these positions. They often will run up and support the striker, and occasionally they run beyond the striker. So when you're looking for key stats, you need to have well-rounded shooting, you need to have good dribbling. High vision is really important because they play a lot of key passes and through balls to the wingers and the strikers. But you also need that high stamina ability as well, because they do a lot of donkey work in midfield. They do a lot of running between both boxes. So now moving on to the wingers. Now we use them on comeback on defense, and this is really important at the moment because we struggle a little bit defensively, and that's okay to admit. So we want to have that extra little bit of security and that extra bit of protection, especially when we're in transition. The free roam is really useful because we want the wingers to do a bit of everything in the final third and not just stick to one job, such as just running in behind or just coming short. We want them to do a bit of everything. We want to pair them with getting behind, because using their speed to be able to exploit any spaces in behind, and then to be able to get into the box for when there's any scraps that might fall their way. So the key stats are quite obviously things like high pace and high dribbling, obviously good shooting and finishing, and if possible, a 4-star weak foot so that you have confidence in finishing in any positions. And then lastly, moving into the striker, we want them on stay central as we need them to be in the middle area of the pitch to be able to link up with those midfielders. And we also use them on mixed attack, and this is to provide some unpredictability in terms of pulling defenders out of position so that the rest of the players, such as the mids and such as the wingers, are able to exploit that space. Now the striker does a really vital role in creating chances in your team and also being the top goal scorer. So we recommend that this position, and whoever plays in this position, is the best player in your team. And of course, when it comes to key stats, you need to have pretty much the same thing as wingers. You need to have high pace, you need to have high dribbling. You also need to have good and high shooting and that 4-star weak foot. So any chances that come their way, they can finish and you're not sort of like stressing because they've got a 3-star weak foot. So that is it for the 4-3-3-2, and we really found good success with this formation. We're not sure why this formation is so underused because we think it has everything that you need to succeed in the game this year. So if you want to try something a little bit different from the normal, then this is something that we recommend you give a try. So as we said earlier in the video, if you want us to continue to make more detailed formation videos like this one, then we do need your support. So make sure that you smash that like button and you subscribe and turn on the notifications bell. And also make sure you go and follow our Twitter and our TikTok if you want to see even more FIFA content from us. And if you want to ask us any questions on FIFA 23, make sure you join our Discord so you can ask us any questions in there. The links to everything is down in the description. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.